Hello everyone, welcome to today's video about the business case midterm EA optimization. My name is Eric and I will guide you through the presentation. We want to give you a short insight on how a midterm EA optimization works and what topics do we cover in such an optimization. But first, a little introduction about Floris and me and LicenseQ as well. We were both working for Microsoft for over 6 years. For myself, I used to work at the Dutch tax office as a contract manager and was also working for a Microsoft license partner in the past. And in the beginning of this year, we decided to help clients with their Microsoft IT challenges and to support them in negotiations and optimizations. And that's where we stand for as LicenseQ. We want to be completely independent, provide you technical and contractual reviews, all transparent, and also to give you a little view into the kitchen of Microsoft. So this business case, of course, we can't name the customer, but we try to anonymize it as much as we can, just to give you a little bit more insight on how an optimization works and what topics are covered in such a project. We are discussing an international organization which has 22,000 users in over 4 countries. They have an enterprise agreement. They have a server and cloud enrollment, both in year 2 of a 3-year term. The enterprise agreement mainly is mainly covered with M365, E3, and E5, as well as F1. And for the server and cloud enrollment, it's only covered with at 15 million Azure monetary commit model. This customer reached out to us because they were severely hit by COVID-19. The revenue dropped with over 70%, and they were also terminating parts of their workforce. So that was the reason they reached out to us. They requested us an optimization to see if there are any low-hanging fruit for them to benefit from. They initially budgeted 1.2 million euros back in January when the world was still normal for their upcoming true-up. But to give you a little bit of a spoiler, that wasn't necessary in the end. The optimization was approached in a two-way model. I was focusing on the modern workplace part, and Floris was focusing on the Azure. We did a quick analysis about their current EA and cloud deployment. We also benchmarked their commercial conditions to see if there were any things we should mention to them, if they had a very good agreement or not. In this case, the customer had a very good agreement. The consumption analysis was done by me. The persona analysis to see whether the right licenses are connected to the right type of users. And also a short and long-term recommendations where we can where we can tell you the customer more about potential optimization and cost savings. The same approach, but then a bit differently for Azure and AWS. We analyzed their cloud spend. We benchmarked their commercial conditions, collected all data. We made an optimization overview, and we provided them also a plan on how to migrate to better consumption model. So on the next slide, we're gonna tell you more about the financials and the contractual details. Again, this is all anonymized, so it's not referring to a real life case, but based upon the truth as much as we can. This client, they contracted us, I think it was 4 weeks before before the actual anniversary. So it left us very little time to have a proper optimization. This client, they had 22,000 users, of which 12,500 were licensed on M365 E5. A lot of users also licensed on F1, and the remainder of the licenses were used by M365 E3 users. This combined with all the normal additional products that were in place, which were excluded from this review, resulted in an annual invoice of 4 million per year. Client has negotiated a very aggressive discount on the M365 E3 and E5 suite, so that was all good for this customer. With regards to Azure, the customer was committing to an Azure monetary commit model. We don't see that a lot nowadays. We tend to see Microsoft step away from the monetary commit model and move more towards the consumption-based offering they have now. Very difficult case also because the customer only consumed 6.5 million euros of the 15 they have contracted. So they had to do a very tough conversation with Microsoft on how to cope with the remainder of that. And that's still in progress as we speak. So we hope that will turn out right for the client. Then a little bit more about the outcome of the analysis. The client was over licensed, so they were firmly believing that they would need to acquire the M365 E5 suite. And even until this day, the customer is still, consider that they move fully to the M365 suite. They do see the value in it, but at this time they don't need it. So we did the analysis, and what came out that the client was only they only needed the M365 E3 suite, which provided them the possibility to downscale immediately from M365 E5 to E3, and that resulted in a 1.2 million euro saving. And this is a lot on your anniversary date in this specific contract. So the customer initially was a bit surprised by that. But they were very happy with the result. They're still, as I said, they're still investigating whether they should adopt Microsoft E5 technology, but not in a full suite, just to see whether some security components or Cloud PBX is perhaps feasible for them to the near future, but not right now. This resulted in a short-term saving for the customer, but they really need to work towards the enterprise agreement renewal next year. They now have very aggressive discounts based upon the M365 E5 suite. But of course, when you are downgrading a contract, your commercial conditions, 9 out of 10 cases, they don't get any better from it. So we see a very hard challenge for the customer there, where we should investigate how to proceed from that position. With regards to the Azure case, of course, there was a lot of remaining monetary commit on the table, which is not used, which is a topic for the client to discuss with Microsoft. But we found some angles in it to reduce the consumption level as well. So the customer was not using the right, was not assigning the right servers, did not assign the right locations, and all in all, that made us to conclude they can reduce in their spend. They were consuming 3.25 million per year, and now after our migration advices, they are actually migrating to it now. It's 2.35 million a year. So that's a very that's also a success story. We're very happy with that. We typically see that Azure customers are overpaying, and not by the actual contract you have, but just using the right technology for you. And that's something you need to do with the help of an independent partner. Microsoft partners tend to get kickback fees from Microsoft, so they're not independent when it comes to Azure consumption reduction. It was a strong belief of the customer that it was not possible to go back in the reduction, but here we are, we've managed to do so. I think this will gives you a very clear view on what we actually can do. Of course, it's a very high level case and not into the detail. In one of our next presentations, we will go more into the details where we can discuss on how we actually did it. But we will keep that for next time. For now, I would like to thank you all for your time and your attention. I hope you liked the video. Please leave your feedback to us. Thank you very much.